Hello?
Hey Terry,
Hey, what's up?
not a lot. I'm not doing too good. I needed people to help me and they didn't. Not how I needed. If it wasn't the help that they wanted to give, which wouldn't have helped anyway, they weren't willing to help. Or they made promises to help me if I did what they wanted, and then I did what they wanted, and they didn't help me in the way that they promised to.
So what kind of help do you need?
I need a lawyer, and
For
I need a
what?
safe place to be. Well, because of Natalie's death, the police across the state of Colorado took part in threatening, harassing, and intimidating me. They prevented me from being able to go to my own court dates. They, ma'am, when people call you mentally ill, everybody assumes schizophrenic.
Right.
So I have to deal with that. When I'm overwhelmed, there's a serious problem, or I wouldn't be overwhelmed. I don't freak out for no reason, you know? I needed people to stop assaulting me. I needed the police to take a report about it, and they refused outright. I mean, in January when I was assaulted, I was trying to make a report about the assaults that were happening in Boulder and all the threats that I was receiving. And
So where are you staying right now?
I'm out of the state of Colorado. I had to leave the state of Colorado to protect myself from police. I got warrants out for my arrest in Colorado right now. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
I tried to kill myself with helium a few months back, and it didn't work. So I tried to call Brandon. He treated me like shit for calling him.
Are we just gonna order the stuff? Well, he moved to Texas. He doesn't even have a Nebraska number anymore.
I know. We talked about that. He ate up all of my data because he wanted to video call instead of just call me.
Yeah?
Yeah, so it ate up all my video data, and I couldn't contact anybody after that. Couldn't use my Facebook. Couldn't nothing. I mean, that's the thing. Is this whole time, these 2 years since I left Virginia, I've been cut off from my friends and family, and then it makes it even worse when I get put on Facebook bans for defending myself. I shouldn't have to defend myself on Facebook. The police should take my report. Instead, they refuse to. They pretend that they're going to, and then they take me to the hospital, and then the hospital staff treat me like shit because I'm trying to get the police to come back and take my report. I didn't do anything to deserve this, Terry. Did I lose you?
No, I'm here.
You know, I don't really have any friends that I can call to just talk to and laugh and chill, and like, that's important stuff. Everything in my life is stress, and every time that I try to get something unstressful in my life, it's cut off because of the false accusations against me, and I don't get to defend myself. They prevented me from being able to go to court. They prevented me from doing that because I needed to report against police officers. They prevented me from doing so in civil court against the Bollingers. They've had their friends and their cronies harassing, threatening, and intimidating me for 2 years now. Even more Bollingers got involved and more cronies got involved after Natalie died. Like, I already proved that I didn't stalk her, but they wouldn't let me prove that in a court of law. They won't let me face my accusers. They won't allow me due process of law. They won't allow me an actual lawyer.
Well, Sean, they already know what happened to Max. I know you didn't have anything to do with it.
That doesn't matter. It's the things that they did before they realized that Joseph Lopez did it that screwed my life over. That they allowed her predators to be predatory towards me and refused to take a report about it. They promised me that they were going to take a report, and instead they took me to the hospital, and then they assaulted the shit out of me at the hospital. They weren't trying to help at all. Like, when somebody's suicidal, the first thing you need to do is take a fucking report, not treat them like they're mentally ill and fucking schizophrenic. If somebody's suicidal, there's a fucking reason why they want to die. And if you... The police in Chapel refused to take my report in 2017 on multiple occasions.
Yeah, that'd be fine. I still got a drink. I'm fine, and there's water in here. I just want to get him just a junior beef and cheddar with no sauce. You can just put it on the debit. That'd be fine. Sorry, we're stopping to get food.
That's alright.
We're going to see my mom. We did finally see Brandon last night. That was the first time I've seen him in 2 years. He doesn't speak to us.
Yeah, he told me that. He said he doesn't talk to you, but he tries to call your husband at least once a week.
He doesn't, though.
No?
No, they text every now and then. Yeah, there's a lot of people that don't get me and don't like me, and that's okay. You know, all you need is a couple people that get you.
Well, I don't get you, but I still love you. I mean, you brought Brandon and Kim into this world. That's something to be thankful for, you know?
Well, like my cousin Nova, she doesn't talk to me. My brother is her dad. We just don't talk. We don't get along.
Nova hates me.
Ass. Well, Nova hates me too, so welcome to the club. I think truthfully she hates herself. She's into Wicca. She does a lot of that stuff. Witchcraft. Yeah.
The only person that I know of that Nova likes is Jamie Curtis.
Yeah, they went to school together.
Yeah. I've been trying to get the police to take a report about the threats and assaults for 2 years now, and they've outright refused. It's going to be 2 years in January.
Truthfully, I would just lay low, leave the police alone, just let it go.
Ma'am, there's warrants out for my arrest.
I know it's not fair. But I would just let it go.
Do you get to see your husband?
I do.
Imagine if you couldn't.
Who is it that you want to see?
I want to see a lot of people. All my friends are between Chapel, Nebraska and Boulder, Colorado. The two places where the way that I was painted, there are people who I helped to raise in Chapel that are afraid of me because of how I was painted. If I go to see my friends or family in Boulder, I get assaulted, threatened, and intimidated, and by the police even.
Well, you know, people were told years ago when you lived there with your mom that you were schizophrenic, and I think that's where that comes from.
Yeah, you know who started that?
Who?
My mom.
Well, that's what I thought.
My mom
but
and...
I know you're not schizophrenic.
My mom, you remember Doug Cowden?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He got arrested for being a child molester, but him and my mom, they took all my money and spent it on cocaine. They were supposed to help me get a car with it. Well, it was just Doug.
Well, you know Doug's dead.
I do.
Yeah.
He died in prison. I wished he'd die, and then he did. And then I felt bad for wishing that. But
Sometimes people create their own.
my mom and Doug did a bunch of cocaine together that they bought with my money. And Mom kicked me out of the house because I was telling her that she needs to choose between her cocaine and her kids. She needs to be a responsible adult and stop blaming everybody else for everything that she did wrong. So she kicked me out. She told the police that I ran away because I didn't want to wash the dishes. And she didn't want anybody to believe me if I told them about her cocaine habit. So she ran around and told everybody I was schizophrenic.
So where is she now?
Well, the guy who raped her is my grandpa, Brian Bruns.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was able to extort over $200,000 from him by holding that over his head. And now
Yeah.
she's rewarding him. He's dying now, so she's over there trying to butter him up so that she can get Grandma Gross's house.
So did she remarry?
No, she's still married to Scott. She's still cheating on him with whoever will have sex with her. I don't get it. I always thought she looked like a cave troll.
Scott who?
Scott Wade?
Oh, I don't. Scott Whitney. I remember that name.
Well, that's her husband. He was more quiet than anything else. So a lot of times, a lot of people didn't even know my mom was married because she didn't really talk about her husband, and he didn't really go out much.
Uh-huh.
When he started doing the electrical work and all that kind of stuff, he wasn't getting the permits he was supposed to, and he spider wired my mom's whole house. He's a terrible
Yeah.
electrician.
So where are you staying right now? I mean, do you have shelter?
I do. It's temporary. I don't have any money coming in. They took away my disability because I was incarcerated. The police just kept on assaulting me. Like every time that I'd go in to make a report against the police, they'd assault me and tell me that I could make a report when I get out. But then they'd transfer me to a different county so I couldn't report because it was out of jurisdiction. And all the stuff that they held over my head was all out of jurisdiction.
Yeah.
I'm all the way, I'm a couple hundred miles from Las Vegas right now.
Huh.
None of my friends live here. And with those warrants, I mean, they were able to get a protection order because I was unable to go to court. And the police took part in that. They actually removed evidence from my person. I threatened to kill the President of the United States and lit a truck on fire to try to force them to take that information. I shouldn't have had to do that. I mean, it took so much for me to psych myself up to do that. And the officers, they treat you different when they realize you're trying to report against other officers. By the way, speaking of officers, could you tell Mike congratulations on becoming sheriff?
Yes, I can.
I know he probably won't want to hear that out of me, especially with all the crap I got going through.
I don't think so. He knows.
He could look my name up on NCIC. I think the other one is CCIS, but I'm not sure if he has access to that information. I think that's mostly for city cops.
Yeah, I don't know. Well,
I,
Sean, I'm gonna have to let my dog out,
that's alright, you're good. Thank you
and
for.
I'll talk to you later.
Yes, ma'am. If there's
All right. Stay
anybody
safe.
that could call me like once a week, that would really, really help out. Like I pray for somebody to call me and they don't, and they don't, and I message them to please call me, and then it ends up being texting, which just makes it worse. You be safe,
Yeah,
alright?
I know.
I love you, Terry. Give your husband a hug for me and tell him thank you. He was always good to me.
I will. All right, Sean. Bye.
Be safe. Bye.